I had the privilege to be interviewed by a huge mentor of mine, Dave Sharpe, who just happens to be an 8-figure earner. Yeah. I talk about starting my own online business and being successful and what all I had to do as a single mom. And I talk about some extreme measures that I did that you can do too, and I show you how. I also talk about one thing that no one really talks about, and it's the main thing that got me where I'm at. So you seriously need to watch this video. And at one point, David actually lets me take over his show. Check it out.
What is going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. We have another great guest. As you guys can see, I'm back in my office here, my regular sort of, normal office. After the month at home in the garage, having the baby. So I may be back in the garage every now and then. But I'm excited to be back. As you guys can see, I've got my old wood wall back up here again as well, and a light over here off on the side because basically I just kind of ran in and threw stuff and set stuff up this morning in a rush. That is, why do I tell you this? Why do I start the show off like that? Well, because I want you guys to know that you can make money, you can have a business, you can build a business, you can you be successful, and it's not always pretty. Success is not always pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty. Nobody gives a shit. Sure, production value, all this kind of stuff is important. If you want to make that important, if you want that to be sort of a piece that people talk about when they watch your content or whatever. But for the most part, your message, the substance of your message, the value that you bring is what's important. And this morning we're going to talk about and talk to a marketer, a legendary marketer, somebody who's been in this community for quite a while. I'm super thrilled to be talking to her, meeting her as she is meeting me live here in person, totally in front of you guys for the very first time. Welcome to the show, longtime legendary marketer, member, first time Wake Up Show guest, Shelly Hopkins. Shelly, how you doing? What up?
I'm good.
This is your first time on the show, right?
It is.
Okay.
Did you have coffee?
Yeah, I've got coffee. As a matter of fact, no, you'll never one up me. So I've not only got coffee, okay, but I've also, watch this, I've also got espresso bean munchies. So if you start going off the rails and ranting and like throwing so much energy, look, I can just put myself on mute, sit back, have a little espresso bean munchie, and I'm good.
You're good. Okay.
I'm totally prepared for whatever comes my way this morning.
All right. Woo! Okay.
Loving your pink chair. It looks like basically a space shuttle seat.
It's new.
Okay.
I used to sit on a ball. But if you sit on a ball, your tush gets numb. And unless you literally want to take your hands and massage your tush all day, you really probably need a chair. So
you need your hands to actually work though, right?
Yeah. So I got a new chair. And since I'm a girl and I like pink.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll get me a cool chair since I have to get a chair. I mean, if you're going to get one, why not get a cool one?
Was that your Christmas present to yourself?
It was. Yeah, it was.
Anything else interesting and exciting that you got yourself playing Mrs. Claus?
Well, you know how they say you should always invest in yourself, which you should always invest in yourself.
Okay.
Well, I tried getting, because I do YouTube.
Yeah.
And I do photography. So I have a fancy, awesome Nikon camera. But it sucks. If you do YouTube, don't go buy Nikon. It sucks for YouTube. So it's not technically, I guess, for Christmas, but I was going to get a Sony. It's like the ZV-1 or something.
Okay.
And like everybody says it's awesome. And I just the other day, I'm like, you know what? I ordered me some cheap bullcrap camera for, oh, you got a Sony. Don't tell me that's it.
I got an RX 100.
Oh.
Now this thing is super badass. And it's got 4K. It's got 4K. It's got a little flip up screen, so basically you can see yourself, you know, as you're recording, and it's epic. Yeah, it's
Sony is the number one. So if people have not done the research, the number one video camera is Sony.
Yeah. Well, that's what's up. That's what's sitting here on my desk. So I don't know how much this one runs, but it's really a good camera. And like, if you just want your video, why am I getting feedback all of a sudden? I don't know why I'm getting feedback all of a sudden, if that's on my side. But yeah, so, okay, now it's gone. So yeah, that's a great camera. Okay, so you got a camera, you got a chair, you're ready to rock and roll. So look, the title of this show this morning is Single Mom Builds Online Business to Create Better Life for Her Daughter. So talk to us about, so first and foremost, so everybody knows, you are full-time now online, is that right?
Full-time.
Okay. Oh my gosh. This comment from Chris says David Sharpe and Shelly Hopkins are conventionally physically attractive people. What about those of me that are not conventionally attractive? I do not think that anyone would want to see this mug on video. Just stop it. Just stop it, please.
Was it Chris Fong?
No, Chris, and I don't mean to make fun of you, Chris. This is Chris Siskluna. But really, honestly, Chris, I'm going to just give you some straight talk right now. Hopefully you're ready to hear it. Get over it. Okay. Like, we all have insecurities about ourselves. Okay. I'm too fat. I'm too thin. I'm too ugly. I'm too pretty. You would not believe some of the insecurities. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Never judge your insides by somebody else's outsides. You don't know how I feel. You don't know the insecurities that I've had to overcome to get on video, to do what I do now for 10 years. You don't know the insecurities that Shelly has had to get over. And that's not to minimize your insecurities about your looks or whatever, but just never compare your insides with somebody else's outsides, because I may come off like Mr. Confident or whatever, but you don't know what I'm battling inside. I could be battling anxiety. I could be battling depression. I could be battling some sort of a complex about my nose or my mouth or my whatever, my voice. So many people overcome so many things. And as Rick Martin just commented, people give a damn about the content, about the value, about what you have to say. So please keep that in mind. And the more relatable you look, one of the reasons why I wear a hoodie and just not a suit is because I want to be relatable to my audience. I don't want to be unrelatable. Anyways, that was a rant. Shelly, anything that you want to speak on about that?
No, I was gonna say, most of the time too, you know, whether I'm doing a YouTube video or a TikTok, I'm usually in a t-shirt. Half the time I'll have my hair pulled up. Sometimes I have makeup, sometimes I don't. It's just about, like you said, you have to relate with people. And if you think that, you always have to dress up and you always have to be, then most people, it's harder to relate. And I can say that because in the beginning, I did a TikTok and it showed my closet. It was a huge hit. But it was talking about, because I was a senior network engineer for over 11 years. So I had to dress up really nice. So when I started working at home, all I had to do was all was nice clothes. And, people are like, oh, so you're dressed up to go out. No, that's all I had to wear. And part of the video was showing my t-shirts. But now I need to do another TikTok, because now my t-shirts have went from, this to like this. I'm growing my t-shirt stack because plus it's more comfortable.
And you know, like somebody else, Simon just commented, you know, something about weight and like feeling insecure about weight. And I will say that, you know, like a lot of times, like we always want what we aren't or can't have. And so there's people out there that battle with being, you know, too skinny, and you don't know what they're dealing with. Maybe they have an eating disorder, maybe they you know, are battling other things. Maybe they have some sort of a medical condition, maybe they feel insecure about being so skinny, the same way that people would feel potentially insecure about being overweight. But I want to just offer you guys all who are kind of feeling, this is a bit going off on a different direction, but I was sort of struck by the comments about the judgment of themselves. And I really appreciate you guys being honest in the comments. I do want to say that as well, because these are the sort of real and authentic conversations that I like to have, because this is what's going on in each of our heads. So it's important to get that stuff out and talk about it. But if you feel insecure about your looks, say for example, you feel overweight and you feel like that's something that's you will be a an issue with your confidence or ability to be able to get on camera, why not use this as an opportunity to push yourself to lose weight? If that's something that is an issue for you, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you also would like to be thinner, why not combine that energy together to make a mission that I am going to lose weight so I can feel more confident on camera? Like, look, guys, I'm not here to say that we should all just accept ourselves. Now, we should. There's a level of accepting oneself that's really important in life. But you don't have to accept everything, particularly the things that you have control over. So if you want to be on camera and you also want to be thinner, those things are connected. You combine that energy together and use it as a motivation. Now you have two things that are now suddenly crossing paths. Use that energy to accomplish the goal of losing weight. Let's not sit around and pretend that any of us are victims. We are not. We may have been victims of our childhood. I will say that, because when we were children, it's just like when I got clean from heroin addiction, somebody said, Dave, because I was making all kinds of reasons and excuses, they said, Dave, you're not responsible for your addiction, but you are responsible for your recovery. And they said, no longer can you sit around and make excuses. You're not a victim. You must become a victor. And so all of us in the comments understand that this community is not going to shame you, not going to blame you, but we're also not going to allow you to use excuses that you do have control over changing. Now, is it difficult? Yes. Might it be the hardest thing you ever do? Yes. Will it be worth it? Yes. Shelly, what's coming up for you?
Well, that's actually something that I wanted to talk about. And it's weird that kind of came up. I guess everything happens for a reason. It's not one of the things I mostly wanted to point out, but that was something I actually wanted to talk about is how bad do you want it and your why. And those two tie together. Okay. And this is a small example. And I'm going to give you a huge one, like huge one. This is going to be so good for you guys. Okay. The small one is, Dave, I have naturally curly hair. You never guessed. But I really like straight. So I straighten my hair. Okay. We want what we can't have. Okay. That's just a small little example. Okay. Your why is so important. My why is my daughter. Okay. Even when I had, I made good money. I mean, I was a network engineer. I mean, I made good money. But even when I had that, before I lost my job, I wanted a better life because my daughter missed me all the time. I had no life. I was on call. Being in IT can suck, even though I did love my job. But of course, I got laid off. But what I did is I wanted it so bad. I started studying and I got the course from, I don't want to butcher his name.
Spencer Mecham. I always say Mecham. And I started studying it, and I wanted it so bad that I skipped lunches. I stayed up late. I got up early. I studied, and I even took it so far because I wanted it so bad, just like losing weight. I talk to people about that too. If you really, really want it, then go after and do it. You can lose weight if you really, really want it, and your why is so important. So do you know what I did, David? I had a 3,000 square foot house, huge, really nice, on a golf course. Okay. I kind of knew I was probably going to lose my job. So what I did, and it was so hard, but I put it up for sale. It was kind of crazy. It's just me and my daughter anyways. So I put it up for sale, and I'm like, I'm going to move somewhere where, because I could kind of foresee the future. You know what I mean? So if I got laid off, if I lost my job, or I also thought I might have to drive like way far to have a job. So I sold my house. I bought a smaller one. You know, it's still nice, but I wanted it so bad. You know, I was studying it. I can do this. And, you know, in the beginning, people, you think that they're just going to be millionaires. And, you know, there's all these fake gurus that talk about, oh, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. Well, I mean, I wasn't stupid. You know, you're going to start off small, and you're not going to have that money in the beginning. So I wanted to be able to do that. I was willing to do what it takes to sell my house. I know this is extreme. But this is so important, guys, to sell my house, to have the money, to have my business, to have the money if I wanted to run ads. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to and stay home and to afford. I mean, we have to buy food and rent and stuff, right? So I did that extreme. So I can now, I mean, it pays off, okay? I can now stay home with my daughter. She always wanted to ride the bus. She can ride that bus, you know? I mean, I'm home, and I'm a real strong Christian, and I always say everything happens for a reason. Well, then this pandemic hit, okay? If I hadn't have went to the direction that I did and started working at home, I would have been fired anyways, because I would have had to stayed home. And I just use this as an example because this is a story, okay? And people can relate to stories. So in your marketing, guys, use a story, because now if you think back, you're going to be like, hey, Shelly's that chick, if you don't know me, that was willing to do everything that she can to be successful. And if a single mom, I'm no better than you, you know, IT to marketing, I mean, that's a little extreme. And so if I can do it, you can do it too. And people talk about $7, okay? And I'm just using Legendary Marketer because it's $7. It's cheap to get in. You don't know how many times I hear people say, they can't pay the $7. And I'm like, okay, if you want it, you can make it happen. You could sell some stuff. You know, you could, you know, I don't have the time. You know what? If I made time, and I'm no one special, then everybody watching this, if you're in that situation, you can too. You know, you can sell shoes. A friend of mine, you know, sold shoes. He was on here before, and got him the money to get started, to do whatever it takes. And if it's not powerful enough, use your why, you know, because for example, I use my daughter as my why. Does that make sense? And so you brought that up, and that was something I wanted to talk about, because a lot of people don't quite get that, but they want it. They want it so bad, but you have to do the work. You have to be willing to do what you can, which is what I have done. Sweat, blood, tears. Oh my gosh, you name it, I've done it. Yeah. But now I'm actually doing it. I'm able to stay at home. I have a YouTube channel. I have my TikTok going on, you know, and I have my group, and I'm able to do it. You know, I teach affiliate marketing. I teach, you know, beginners YouTube. And now, you know, the best part about it is I love it. I love to help people. You know, I'm a good coach. And it took a long time for me to say that. You know, like you were saying, you know, we had, you know, I was so terrified, and I didn't even realize I was a coach, until someone had to say, hey, Shelly, you're a good coach. I'm like, I'm not a coach. Hell yes, I am. You know, so it takes a while to build up the confidence too.
Yeah. Yes, it does. I love the story of selling your house. I think that's one that certainly sticks with me, and I think that everybody, whether you have already created your story and you don't know it, and you need to dig and you need to find it. We've sold a product called Story Selling Formula. We talk about story selling a lot. If you go through and look at every great marketer in this community, they sell and they market through telling stories, including myself. It's just a natural part of my communication now. But, back to my point, likely each one of you guys has already done something extreme. You've made a sacrifice in order to start your business. If you haven't, then it's time to create that story. And that's one of the things that one of the points that takes me back to this original comment about the looks and about the weight, which is maybe that's an opportunity for you to create a story, to create an inspirational story, to create a marketing story. And what I love about online marketing is that you can actually be living the story and telling the story as the story's happening. And even further, you can get additional accountability by documenting your journey on your various different marketing platforms that you're focused on. And I think that that everybody is waiting for the end. When I get to the finish line, when I'm finished, when I'm there, that when I'm successful, then I'll take action. Then I'll come out and talk about it. But see, there is no, that's an impossible. That's the carrot that the horse never reaches. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a carrot that you're holding in front of your face that you're never going to get. You have to do it now. You have to, if you want to lose weight and you want to get on camera, you have to push yourself and document that journey now and talk about it now and jump in now. And you have to, as I like to say, actualize the results. Actualize means make reality of. However, the first word inside actualize is act. So you have to act. So your action was selling the house. Your action was, there was lots of action inside of your commitment, inside of your desire, inside of your why. We have these whys. We talk about these whys. Oh my God, what's your why? But that's great to have a why. But if you're not doing anything to act upon that why, if your daughter is the most important thing, which I hear this all the time, but I ignore my daughter all the time, or I don't spend time with her, or I don't work for her, or I don't put action to build a business to be able to set a good example for her. There's a disconnect there. So I have to attach my why to the action that I take, selling the house, making the sacrifice. What that tells me is your daughter's growing up watching you taking action. There's a story there that you can teach her later on about sacrifice, about working hard, about downsizing your living surroundings and your quality of life so you can achieve more. So you're not in such financial strain while you're building your business. Boy, these are priceless lessons that you can. And how old's your daughter, Shelly?
She's 9.
Okay. So talk to us a little bit more about your business and that relationship with your daughter and how you are building your business as a mom. Did you say you're a single mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that adds another dynamic.
It does.
which is, for those of us who are in a partnership with somebody else who we get to share the responsibility with, being single in that dynamic is unimaginable. So you have that other, one could call it hardship, but you're not. You're taking advantage of it and making the best out of it and thriving versus just surviving. So talk to us more about what sort of mindset you have to be able to persevere through this dynamic with building a business and being a single mom.
It's hard. And like you said, a lot of times people, and I've heard, other, 6-figure earners say, that are married and have some other, it's harder than you think, because like, they're like, I have my husband, I have my, wife, they can do this, they can do that. Rachel Peterson talks about that all the time. And she's really upfront and honest. And I use her sometimes as an example. So in my group, I always tell them the truth too. I'll be like, I'm horrible at time. I'm always trying to make time management better. I'm like, I'm not good at that. So I admit that to my group, and I tell them I need to improve on this. And by me open and let them know that I'm not perfect, I'm broken in a bunch of areas, and it helps them relate to me too, but not just relate it. It helps them know what they need to do and what they don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And on top of that, I at one point, my David Needham. That's something I want to talk about is accountability, because everybody asks me how I got to where I'm at, and it's actually because of Dave Sharpe, accountability. But one of the main things that I try to focus on is just, doing what I can, because people don't think, oh, she still has to do laundry and she still has to do this. And, and I have cats in my lap, is, the things that we have to do, and sometimes it's not always pretty. But since I mentioned accountability, the number one thing, and no one talks about this, I listen to your show all the time, and how I have gotten to where I'm at has been so hard. And I remember several times drinking, several glasses of wine, and crying because, it's not easy. But how I've got here, and I just wanted to make sure I get this out, is because it's the number one thing that's helped me. And it's accountability groups, accountability partners. No, I'm not married, but I have partners in this area that they are my partners. They help me. When I am crying with my glasses of wine, there's people I can go to, and I have a great example. And I want everybody to know this, because if this helped me, again, it can help you. Is right before, do you remember, this was a while back, I've been doing this for a while, when you had the 30-day challenge where we had to enter everything in. Do you remember that?
The 30-day content challenge, and you
that
entered
was it.
Yeah. The drawing.
The content.
Yeah.
Okay. I was in a group, and I bet almost every single person in this small group has been on your show. We started a group, and it was really small. And it was mostly people that did YouTube. We would watch people's YouTube channels. We would give them tips and tricks, and we would help each other. And I got in that group right before that challenge. And then we had that challenge, which I finished. And it was hard. That's tough, trying to do one thing a day, content. And we didn't have TikTok, so you couldn't do 60-second videos. It was tough. But in that group, I learned that if you can count on each other, then you can make it happen. Because when you have those breakdowns, when you are stressed out, and you know that you do this, everybody watching this, it's true. If this is you, you leave a comment down below, because I know it's true. You need someone to be there for you. So what I learned from this group, and especially because it was so stressful during that you had us going through, but it was good. Thank you. But I learned that having that group, I learned during that challenge how much it meant to me. And I wasn't the only one. At the end of the challenge, I bet almost every single person did a video talking about how it helped us and it changed us as marketers. And it had to, because every single person, Jake was part of the group. I wasn't going to try to name people, but they've all been successful.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, Jonathan Montoya, Steve Green, Victor Paradis. Okay, there's a few. And I love Victor, by the way. Victor's probably my number one person that I learn and watch from on TikTok and on YouTube. So everybody go follow Victor, okay?
He's been on the show. He's been on the show. And Victor, what I like about Victor is he has a full-time job
yes.
as a car sales manager and does this. I mean, it's kind of like a legit side hustle for him. His story is really incredible. We've had him on the show before. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I love that man.
I mean, all of these guys are cool that you just mentioned, but his just stuck out because we're talking about just accountability and we're talking about, you know, doing this despite the other things you have going on in your life. But continue with the accountability piece, because this is like, and I love the honesty, Shelly, also just about the glass of wine and the crying. And I just like, my wife, I don't know, I don't have a picture of it, but like we are so big into like validating the feelings that we have in the reality that we're going through. So like, for example, and then I'm going to turn it back over to you, like our daughter with this new baby boy that came into our house, our daughters had bouts of like, I don't want this kid here. Like, I don't want him here. Like I'm going to go break all his toys, you know, and 99.999% of the time, she is my little angel and she is totally sweet. And even during this time when she's having these feelings, she's still my little angel and she's totally sweet. They're real feelings. They're actual feelings. And you know what I tell her? We were on our way to school this morning. It was her first day back to school after 9 months of not going to school during my wife's pregnancy. And she said, and I was talking about feelings that she's having. Hey, maybe you might be afraid or shy and excited and anxious and embarrassed and all these things. And she said, Daddy, I'm feeling excited and shy. And I said, that's totally normal and it's totally okay. And the reason why I tell these couple of stories is because I love how you're talking about the wine and the crying, because in entrepreneurship, in life in general, but in entrepreneurship, you're going to feel like you love entrepreneurship and online marketing. You're going to feel like you hate it, like you love yourself, like you hate yourself, like it's the best thing you ever found. It's the biggest scam you ever found. Like all these, you know what I mean? Like all these feelings you are going to have. And you know what? It's totally normal and it's totally okay. And I love, love, love the conversation that you're having with us right now, particularly tying that into accountability and finding a safe group of people that you can share that with and who will validate the feeling that, Shelly, I totally get it. Like if you share your ugly crying, I'm feeling like I want to just throw the towel in and I can't do this anymore, that they're also going to be honest and share their truth that, you know what, like I feel like that today too, girl. Like it's, oh my God, they're not going to be like trying to fix your problems for you. Like, oh, Shelly, come on, get over yourself. You can do, like, that's not what we want to hear. Like we want to be validated. Like, yo, dude, look, it is totally normal to feel that. And I've felt that too. And even over this last month, like being home with 2 kids and like I felt like, oh my God, I'm going to pull the little bit of hair out in my head. I'm going to pull my hair out if I could actually get a hold of it. But anyways, back over to you about just the reality of doing this and then finding that group of accountability partners and safe people that you can share with. I just love it. I know I'm interjecting here, but I love it. It's real. It
is. I love it. And, you know, since Jake popped up, you know, that's a good example too, because, you know, he had talked to me and stuff about, you know, all of us had started TikTok. I started TikTok a long time ago. I quit for like a year, but, you know, I was telling Jake, you need to do TikTok. No, Shelly, no. Okay. No, really, just do it. Just try it. I think you'd be good. You know, he listened and he's doing great. You know, so I loved that group, but that group, you know, we had broke off, and I'm still great friends with everybody. But it helped me learn that how much an accountability partner can really mean to you. And I did a YouTube video about mentors, and I talk about you being my mentor all the time, and then we talk about, and then coaches, which most people pay for coaching. And I have David Needham. I knew I'd jack his name up. So he is an official accountability partner. And then I have Steve Green, who is my official YouTube accountability partner. And I talk about this more than anything because it's the number one thing that can really help you. And people just don't realize it. And people don't talk about it. I talk about it all the time in my group. I tell them, hey, do you need somebody? Let me help. Let me find you someone, because it's so important. And like you said, whenever you have those breakdowns, just like this morning, and I am totally not shy and I'm never nervous. I told you, I am not an introvert. I don't care about getting on video. I'm fine. And my friend David called me this morning. He's like, I know you're nervous. He's like, it's David Sharpe. Yes, but it's okay. And that's awesome to have that. But I think everyone in this business should do the same thing. Now, if you have a group, that's awesome. Don't make it huge though, because I think there's a point when it's too big to like your group. I love that group and everybody's so honest and they're so helpful, but you can be more intimate. Like you said, I'm not going to talk to everybody in the group about me crying, drinking wine, being stressed out, because how many times do we quit, David? How many times do we quit? I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. But you can go to your group, or if you just want an accountability partner, you can go to that partner and tell them, I'm struggling. How can you help me? And if you they are Shelly giving a motivational mic dropping masterclass. Whoa, yeah, heck yeah. But if you don't mind, David, let me break off just for a second.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to talk about the mentors and the coaching.
I'm choking, so I'm gonna run I'm gonna make you the entire screen. I'll be back in a moment and just
I got this.
Dominate.
I got it. Okay. I talk about mentoring and coaching all the time because people don't understand. They really don't understand about how helpful it is. Okay. I went a year. I made no money because I had no clue what I was doing. I would have never made it that far if it wasn't for, I always talk about Chris Fong. So if y'all don't know him, go follow him. He held my hand and led me through funnels and taught me about autoresponders and how all of that works. And if I hadn't even known that, I would have been lost. And then I met Jacob Karras, who also proceeded to hold my hand and teach me some further things. And one is, don't take on too many things at once. It's such an important lesson. But okay, those are mentors. David Sharpe is a huge mentor of mine. If I go on, if I'm advertising or I'm talking to my group, I'll talk about how even Matt from Legendary Marketer, he's a huge mentor to me and he doesn't even know it. He met me this morning right before this call. He didn't even know me, but he had no clue how much he mentored me, along with David and Chris and tons of my friends. And if you're wondering, how do you get these people? Because I don't pay for these mentors. A lot of times, if you follow them, like Legendary Marketer, you're in Legendary Marketer, you can use these people to follow. A lot of times, if you sign up, whether it's Legendary or, it's tons of marketing choices we have for software out there. A lot of times, if you sign up for someone, they'll say, hey, you know what? I'll help you and mentor you. And I bring this up because I'm just going to say Active Campaign because it's what I know you use. And I needed someone to teach me. I needed someone to help me because I was lost. I was with AWeber and it's different. And that's how I found David Needham, who is now, I call him my online BFF. But it's from him being a mentor and teaching me how to do that. So now we're really good friends. And then let's break off to coaches, because a lot of times people don't know the difference. Most of the time you have to pay for a coach. Okay, I have a coach and his name is Anthony Ambrose, but it's for YouTube. But I can also go to him when I have issues for my group. I have issues on Facebook. He'll help me with anything that I really need. And he's awesome. He's like me. He's silly. He's down to earth. He's crazy. And I can talk to him about anything. I could tell him my one story too. But I had to pay to get in there. But now that I'm in there, I have him as a coach. Now, you can go off and get someone for free, but a lot of times if you don't pay for a coach, or like the other day, Dave was talking in an interview where you have to sometimes pay for time, because we only have so much time in a day. I listen to these lives all the time. And, you have to invest in yourself. And so sometimes if you want something more than just a mentor, then you do have to fork out some money. But aren't you worth it? Aren't you worth being able to pay some money? I'm going to pay more for my Sony camera because it's going to help me in my business. So if I'm going to do that, wouldn't it make more sense to pay for a coach, whether it's in Legendary or something else, and help yourself? Because if you can't invest in yourself, what better could you invest in? So, Dave, do you have anything?
Yeah, I want to speak on this from my perspective, what I see and what's real to me, because what you're talking about is kind of being a mentee. And like, for me, mentorship relationships are either extremely formal, meaning that somebody's enrolled in a program like our Blueprints in coaching. And in that case, it's a formal, there's been money in exchange. People communicate with me. They get my email address. We hop on. It's a year-long program, and it's a formal kind of mentorship. Then you have sort of, I feel like there's three types of kind of getting a mentor, being mentored. Then you have the sort of indirect or long distance mentors, which is some of what you were just talking about, to where you watch somebody and you learn from them on video. You learn from them when people come into our Blueprints program. Matt and I instantly become their mentors. We hop on a decade in a day. We look out extra for those clients. If we see them working for something, struggling with something, we go the extra mile. We reach out to them and say, hey, I saw that you're kind of posting about this or asking about this or doing this, or I saw an ad that you're running and I wanted to give you a suggestion. Of course, we have weekly calls every Thursday for those clients. And then you have sort of these scenarios to where you're taking action and somebody notices it. Okay, whether you're a client or not, and they just want to help. And there becomes this unspoken kind of mentor relationship. And that relationship can last for a long time. It may only be a short time, but it never, ever, I want to be so clear about this. No relationship is ever established or happens without the mentee, the person who needs help or wants help, doing something first.
Exactly.
Nobody is ever going to help somebody that's not helping themselves.
Exactly.
First. Because why would anybody want that load? Do like the load of trying to get somebody up off the couch? It's like, you want to be a runner and I'm a running coach. Do you think the people that I'm looking to work with are the ones who are sitting on the couch? And I get up every day and say, I am so excited to go get people up off the couch. That fires me up. It fires me up to go and try to talk people off the couch. I mean,
I've helped tons of people. I have helped a bunch of people. I can actually say I have successfully helped a bunch of people, but they have all reached out to me.
Yeah.
To me. And so, since they're willing to put in the work and they're willing to reach out to me, okay, what can I do to help you? But you have to be willing to do the work.
I read something the other day that I thought was really clever and clear about, interacting with people that you want their advice, you want there to be a mentorship relationship established or whatever. I think sometimes we sort of define mentorship in this weird way, like it's like this super, like I said, formal thing. And the only time it's formal is when somebody actually enrolls into a mentorship or coaching program. But the rest of the time, it's usually not formal. And so they, in this article or this post, I can't remember where I read it, but they said that if you're looking for somebody's feedback or advice, or you have a question about something for someone, even if it's a group, right? Because a lot of times a group collective can mentor you. And that's why these communities that we have are so powerful. But the way that people ask questions are so ineffective. And so, for example, when I ask somebody a question, and even if I'm a client, like my attorney or anybody that I'm asking a question, a landscaping company, I'm doing some landscaping work on my house, and the way in which I communicate with this company, I'm so super clear and thorough in what I'm asking. And if I'm emailing or I'm reaching out to a group or a mentor, I want to make it as easy as possible for them to answer the question. So I want to keep my question clear and concise, as short as possible, but also clear. So I want it to be really clear what I'm asking. I also want to let them know, what have I done already that either hasn't worked, or what are the results from what I've done, so they can understand the full scenario, have context for my question. And then instead of just asking an open-ended question that they have to think about, I do the thinking. I put forth the effort and say, these are the scenarios that I'm thinking about that would be solutions. A, B, C, D, something I haven't thought of. So now all
I love that.
Okay, I'm putting forth the effort to actually think for myself and to try to make it easier for the group or the mentor to answer. And then when the person responds back and I go and I put that into practice, this is key, I come back and I let the group know, or I let the mentor know, that I actually put what they told me, the time that they took to answer my question, I put it into practice. And here's what happened: good, bad, indifferent. Thank you for the advice. Now, all of a sudden, you're giving the group, you're giving the mentor something they can be excited about, they can be excited for. And in that, you talk about the running coach who's excited to help runners. No, I don't get up every day and I'm not excited to help people get off the couch. But if a runner comes to me, knocks on my door, says, I want to be a champion runner, and this is what I've already done, these are the solutions that I have in mind that I think might be worth my time over the next year to try. I'm also open to any feedback that you have, because I really respect your opinion. Please let me know what you think about these solutions that I've already come up with. Oh, Mr. Coach, hey, first of all, congratulations. That inspires me. Thank you for coming and asking me. Here's my thoughts. Thank you, Mr. Running Coach. I'm going to go try that now. A week later, Mr. Running Coach, I want to follow up and tell you and share with you how your feedback and advice helped me, or how it didn't help me. And I think it might, this is why I didn't fully follow through, right? It's about taking responsibility. So again, just to recap, so many of you guys want feedback, mentorship, coaching, and you're sitting there as Shelly's going over these different relationships that she has or has had, and going, well, I don't have anything like that, or nobody will ever pick me. Like you're a child on a basketball court and nobody picked you and you're a victim. And that's okay, because a lot of us think like that when we first get started. We need a brainwashing, right? So we're giving you that brainwashing right now. Instead, remember that if you want feedback from a group or a mentor, you need to clearly ask. You need to be clear with what you're asking. You need to do the work and not put the work on the mentor or the group. of hey, here's what I've thought the solutions might be, or I'm open to anything that you guys are thinking of, and then come back and report that you actually put into action. How's that feel? What's coming up for you?
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. And just what you were just talking about that made me even think too, because I do so many one-on-one, like people reach out to me, and as long as they're willing to do the work, I love to help people. And, you know, I need to bring that actually more into my group, because, you know, just me, I'm just learning something now, just hearing you say that, you know, because if I brought it into my group, more people could even listen and learn and do what I'm doing, because I'm helping a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, there may be a point too where I can only help so many people, you know, at once. But I like that part where you talked about, you know, you bring it into the group and stuff, because I'm doing a lot of the coaching and stuff myself now. So
well, you have to teach people how to be students, Shelly. You know what I mean? You have to teach people how to be students. And that's one thing that I want to work with our community. It's getting bigger and we have so many people, but so many people waste so much time. And that's why I wish that, you know, people would tune into these and all this kind of stuff. They just want to jump online and post some kind of half-assed question in a group. And it's like, you know, it's so ineffective. It's so ineffective. The thing that I worked on, and I still work on a regular basis, is clarity in my question asking. And it's comes into play with everything: my copywriting, my communication verbally, and specifically my question asking. You know, because being a successful person is all about asking the right questions. It's not always about, and it's usually never about talking, except when you're talking, you want to make sure you're super clear. It's about asking questions. And so not only do I want to get really good at asking questions, you know what I mean? Like, most of us think we need to get good at talking, but what we need to get good at is asking questions, asking clear questions. If you want to be a great coach, if you want to be a great, you know, consultant, mentor, whatever, therapist, although I'm not speaking for therapists, it's about asking questions. It's about asking questions. The better and this is the one simple thing. If you were to write something down, I might advise those of you there. I just saw, look, there's a damn lizard on my wall.
It's a lizard.
Oh my God.
I'm loving it.
So here's the thing, I almost lost my train of thought, but I'm on it. I'm on one this morning. In order to get better answers, ask better questions.
I like that. I like that. That's good.
And it's not each one of you. All the information is at your fingertips. It literally is, especially if you come into a community like Legendary. There are so many intelligent, successful marketers surrounding you in this community. People who have all come up from the ground, started from the bottom, just like Shelly. And you know what? You could get all the help that you need, and people tripping over themselves to help you, but you ask shitty questions. And I say it that way because I want it to slap you in the face. You ask shitty questions. Your questions suck. You ask yourself crappy questions. You ask others crappy questions. And it takes just as much energy to ask a crappy question as it does to ask a good quality question. It takes maybe a little bit more work, right? I guess I should retract that. It takes a little bit more work to ask a good, thorough, clear question where you do the work instead of trying to make somebody else do the work for you. But you get so much more back out of it. Look, we need to bring this conversation in for a landing because I got something coming up in 4 minutes. But give us your final words for anybody who's standing at the Legendary door maybe and saying, should I really get involved with these guys? Should I get involved with Legendary? Should I get involved with this community? Do I need people like this Dave guy and this Shelly lady who I'm just hearing for the first time? Do I really need these people in my life? Do I need this education? Do I really need this, or can I go off and do it on my own? Maybe they're skeptical. Maybe they're feeling insecure. Why don't you speak to those people about what we have here and how it could help them?
Okay. Well, let's just use me as an example. because I hate the word stupid, but I was stupid because in the beginning, I tried to do everything on my own. When you stepped away, I told everybody I didn't even make $1 for a year. I mean, I really did, because I had no guidance. Did not know what I was doing. I had already been doing this a while before I took the challenge. But when I took the challenge, that made me think, oh my gosh, I can set up, this is actually helping me build my business way better than what my mind was thinking. And it's little things too, and I'm just talking about the challenge because the challenge is what leads you to get to be here. Get to be in here is awesome. It's amazing. It's one of the best groups in the world. Learning from Dave. Let me talk about Matt. I love Matt. And when I first saw Matt, I told him this morning he had me from hello. I did the 15-day challenge, and there's one video that I just remember. I'm into YouTube, and he starts talking about how you can hold a phone. Okay, you can hold a phone. See my phone. See my phone? Maybe see my phone. See my phone? You can hold a phone that far back, and you can put an app on that phone and put what you want to say on it and hold it in front of you, and you can read it. And I was like, oh, I was blown away. Okay, that's one tiny tip that I learned. And I thought I already was, doing pretty good on my own. But I learned that from the challenge. Okay. And that I love Matt just for teaching me that stupid little tip. But I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know that just that tip could help me. Okay. And that's just one little thing. So I got into the challenge. I learned so many things. I had already fell in love with David just because of your story. And then you taught me so much. And now not only do you get to learn that, then you get to be in the group and being in this community. We'll just say it because it's a community. You get to be on these calls. I listen to this almost every single day, and I get so much. And it's usually the calls like this that touches my heart more. And if that can help me, again, that can help so many other people. So it's kind of, I hate to say the word stupid, but it's kind of stupid not to. It really is. When you can save so much time and energy and effort and money, just join. I love it. I absolutely love it from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I will second some of the comments that have come in. And yes, I believe that app you just were mentioning is the teleprompter app. And there's a couple of different apps. You know what, guys? Go search on the App Store and find it. That's my assignment for you today, is to go be resourceful and find it, because it's easy to find. You just put in words like teleprompter or whatever, and part of this is about being resourceful. But I want to just say to you, thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun for me today. I love the real conversations about what we deal with and face as entrepreneurs and marketers every day. You guys can find Shelly Hopkins by typing in her name to any of the social media platforms, YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook. And you can go and connect with her, and you can follow her. You can, she can likely become a part of your accountability network, in your family, in your community. It's that easy. But as I, shared with you guys here towards the end of the call, make sure that if you approach Shelly, you approach her with that level of care and that level of just detail that I explained, that everybody wants that respect when they're approached by people versus just, can you help me? Can you mentor me? Nobody wants to help you get off the couch. Get off the couch, get out of the house, and be a part of something and contribute and give. And you will be amazed by what comes back to you. To have somebody like Shelly in your corner could be the difference. So Shelly, it's been fun. I got to get the hell out of here. I'm a minute late for another call, but I've had a blast, and I can't wait. If there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out as well. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. See ya. All right, my friends, it has been fun. I got to go. Have a great Monday. This was a phenomenal show this morning. Probably potentially worth another listen as you're walking around, doing dishes, whatever. And be legendary. My friends, we'll see you back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Wake up legendary. Bye-bye.